All right, welcome, witches, mystics, and cosmic souls, to A Sip of Stardust. I'm your host, Allie, the Cosmic Space Witch, a professional astrologer with an esoteric twist. My specialty is galactic astrology, where I dive deep to explore the macrocosm of the sky and the microcosm of your soul. I look way past the typical forecast, incorporating asteroids, black holes, fixed stars, and the ancient mysteries to give you an expanded and truly esoteric lens with which to view the grand design. Here, we will sip on tea and explore the astrology. Catch new episodes live, usually at 5 p.m., but this time it's 3 p.m., the night of the new and full moon here on Substack, with replays available on all streaming platforms afterwards. We welcome magical guests, drink handcrafted tea, pull oracle cards, and decode the myth, magic, and mystery found in the stars and in you. Each guest and conversation will revolve loosely around the archetypal dynamics of that zodiac sign. These conversations, however, will be timeless and be able to be consumed at any point in the year. So grab yourself a cup and settle in. It's time to take a sip of Stardust. Tonight, we are chatting with Captolia. Online, she's known as Captolia.online. She is an archetypal brand strategist and visibility guide for spiritual creators who are done hiding. She uses archetypes to clarify essence, voice, and positioning, and then turns that into marketing and offers that make clients instantly recognizable, emotionally resonant, and authentically iconic. Her work blends sharp strategy with energetic support, rooted in one belief: authenticity is a magnet. And the goal is to be magnetically polarizing, not lukewarm, to appease your haters. So let's talk all things business for the modern mystic in a time where the algorithm is trying to get us to sell our soul. Hi, Captolia.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
I love that bio of yours. It's so
I'm glad.
you. I am excited to dive in. What are you drinking? You got some tea?
So I have a little bit of a cold, so I am drinking a throat coat.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I
Throat.
give that to my kids. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Hopefully you feel better. I know you've been doing so much work. You launched your 21-day challenge today and you just got out of that call and then came here to join us.
It was a full day today. It was absolutely a full day, but it was amazing. I feel really lucky that this is my work. I'm like, what? I get to show up and like help this movement of witches and mystical people like share their magic. It's incredible.
Yeah, I know. Even when like my worst day working for myself as an entrepreneur is like better than any day I was working for somebody else. It's such an honor to get to, immerse myself in magic every day as a literal career. Like little kid me would be blown away in awe of what I have become. It's like, what? We went from making potions in the backyard to this? Like, okay, all those Harry Potter books we
Yeah.
consumed.
Oh my God, absolutely. I really feel like my inner preteen, like my inner teen, my inner preteen guides so much of what I do. Like my inner child, absolutely. But I feel like for me, my inner teen and preteen like lead the way absolutely for so much. Like from the like I was already running online communities when I was 12, and like, I was someone that people would go to like, revamp their MySpace pages back in high school. I spent, like, all my time on the internet. I had, like, a online community for stoners when I was, like, 13 on LiveJournal. Like, I don't even know. I just feel like it just made so much sense, and it makes so much sense that this is what I'm doing, and I feel like we can all glean so much magic and wisdom from our teen selves. 'Cause
For
they, like,
sure.
they have the most, like, radical energies, that teen self who that's the phase of your life when you're trying to figure out who the fuck you are. So that's the perfect version of you to connect with when you're like, how can I be doing my real meaningful work in the world? How can I show up more authentic?
100%. And a lot of times we lose connection to that. And then it's like in our 30s that we're trying to connect back to what it is that we liked when we were kids. That's something I really tried so hard to keep alive in my own kids is like their weird niche interests. I'm like, hold on to that because that is your purpose. That is your passion. That is what is going to make you feel like you are doing something that is connected to your soul. My youngest, she's obsessed with the fantasy books. She's been telling stories since she was little. She's already writing a novel. And I'm like, that is it. That's what you want to do. And my oldest is obsessed with cats. She's an artist and a painter. She paints pet point portraits. She already owns a business, but she wants to own a cat cafe. And I'm just like, do that. Like that is it. Do not think like we were told you need to go to college, you need to get a degree, you need to make money.
Right.
What? You want to be an artist? Like you can't do that, and I've really tried to do the opposite with my kids. It's like those are the things that make you happy and those are the things that make being human like worth it, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I feel again so lucky and blessed that, even I get to sit here and chit chat with you and this is my job. Yeah, what the heck?
So let's start with tell us a little bit about you, kind of maybe your journey, what got you here, so that we have a little frame of reference for Captolia.
Sure. So I have been a business owner since 2018, or it's been 8 years. It's been 8 years since I took the leap and I quit my job. In between now and then, like, I've had some part-time jobs and things. I worked at a tattoo shop doing the desk. I've done some little things here and there, but I just kind of tapped into my values, and my greatest value really is freedom, and I needed that freedom. Like, I feel like my spirit was just aching thinking about having to ask someone for permission for things like, yeah, I'm sick. Can I please have the day off? I've told this story before, but like one of the last things that really pushed me over the edge to start my own thing and take it really seriously is at my job. My boss, I called out of work one day. I texted her and said, I'm sick. I can't come in. Then the next day, she brought me into like an all staff meeting and it was like, from here forward, you need to call me on the phone in the morning, not text me, and ask me if it's okay for you to stay home that day, and I'll tell you yes or no. And I was just like, "Whoa, like, this is truly wild, like, you feel like, you have ownership of me, and I am a possession of yours or something," and I just could not. I my spirit could not take it. Within a month or so, I was gone from the company, and I didn't even care if it was, like, financially successful. I literally immediately felt like a success because I didn't have anyone to answer to anymore, and that was my priority. I was like, "I can take a nap when I need to, I can have a day if I need to, I can do whatever if I need to." That was so important to me, and that's really what drives me today still is like creating that freedom for myself, for my spirit, for my soul, and helping others do the same. Especially folks who really struggle in traditional work environments. Like I have ADHD. I never really liked school. So entrepreneurship was just it's just honestly my only option. I was like this is my only option, and I just really really love getting to help people like take up space and show up online and not hide themselves out of fear of, like, being bullied or critiqued or whatever, and just, like, own their right to be seen, and especially on your own page. Like, that's really what it's all about. But I don't know, that's kind of some of my background. have moved around a lot. I currently live in Brattleboro, Vermont with my partner and my 2 little dogs, and, my life is actually pretty boring. Like, I watch a lot of silly TV, like trashy television, Love Island, Temptation Island, I like all the islands, um, and just hang out a lot. That's my life. I'm like, it's gotten more boring and honestly so much nicer when I let it be boring.
Yeah. For me, it's like the 90s nostalgic TV. It's like Buffy and Charmed over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That's another ADHD thing is like watching the same thing over and over again because you already know it's going to happen. And so it's comforting. You don't have to be like, there's no suspense, you know?
Yeah. I mean, thinking about all the shows that were popular when we were kids, like, yeah, Buffy, Charmed, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the old Sailor Moons, like, there was just so much magic. I was even looking at, like, some of my old toys and the types of toys I liked. Let me see, I think I have it. So I've been starting my eyelash, a little micro collection of these old Polly Pocket
I was gonna
castles,
say, is that Polly Pocket? I was obsessed.
and they all come with these little keys. And I work with Hecate, so this key, just means a lot to me. I have 3 different ones now, and I'm gonna keep building this collection, but I was just like, "Oh my god, these just." Almost created, like, a little altar out of it, like, this is a micro altar. I'll put, like, little notes and things inside of it and kinda just keep this as the space to keep connecting with my child self. I was even, like, looking around at my office, I was like, "Oh my god, everything I own is." I was like, "These are my brand colors."
Those are your brand colors. It's so funny that you mentioned the key and that was your, like, big childhood toy. Mine was okay, so you know how everybody had American Girl dolls?
Yeah.
I
I
was
never
never
did.
into the American Girl dolls because, the books were boring, the outfits were lame, and it's like, "Oh, yay, history." Oh, not fun for me. But there was another, like, catalog and dolls that was called the Magic Attic Club. Do you remember this?
I don't remember that.
Okay, so it's like a little group of girls, and they find a magic key, and it opens this magic chest, and there's all these different outfits, and they put on a different outfit, and then they look at this magic mirror, and they go on this adventure, and they can't come back until they, like, pretty much go through a hero's journey and like save the day in some sort of fashion. And it's always like mystical and magic. And so I had Allison. My name's Allie. Her name for short is Allie. Blonde hair, blue eyes. I was blonde when I was a kid. She had ADHD. That was like part of her lore in the books. And the outfits were so cute and like mystical and magical. Like one of them, she was like a genie or like a tightrope walker or like saving the day in some sort of fashion. And I was like, I want that. But like they were very expensive. So finally I got like one doll after begging forever. And then my mom made all the clothes. I didn't actually get any of the clothes. But for my kids, we got like a big old lot on eBay. So now I have them all.
Oh, yeah, I've
But
been getting these on eBay too.
yeah, we got that millennial adult money.
I know, I'm like, "What am I where's all my money going?" And I'm like, "Oh,
Toys.
vintage toys from the early '90s."
It's the nostalgia, especially right now. Like a lot of us millennials are going through our Neptune square. It is a transit of like spirituality, but like major nostalgia. And we're looking back on our life with this like rose colored glasses. And the nostalgia is just running high for us all right now. But I can dig it. I can dig
Yeah,
it.
I've been seeing that, like, 2016 trend of people posting, what they were doing, where they're going in 2016. Oh my god, my lashes are flying.
I
They're
can't
f
tell.
they're flying off.
I can't tell. It looks good. It looks good from here.
They're flying, ready to take me away.
So I'm super excited to chat to you. chat with you, particularly for this Capricorn moon right now, because we have so much energy in Capricorn. This new moon is conjunct Mars, it's conjunct Mercury, it's conjunct Venus, it's conjunct Pluto, and it's aspecting all the other planets. Like this moon is literally aspecting every single planet in the sky and really harmoniously working with the outer planets at the tail end of their transits where they're preparing to move into new signs this year. And Capricorn has a lot to do with business. It has a lot to do with achievement. It has a lot to do with our path up to the top of our personal mountain, our legacy, our great work. And it's not always easy for some of us spiritual practitioners to, get out there and I don't want to say like climb the corporate ladder because that's not what we're doing, but marketing particularly is hard for us. Like we can embody our craft, we can show up in a certain way, but we have a hard time like promoting our work. And what I love about your work is that you help us to navigate that because it is so hard. And I feel like this Capricorn moon, especially since Mars is there, it's helping us to start new chapters right now that have these like long-term goals in mind. And Mars doesn't station retrograde at all this year. So the things we're seeding right now can really carry a lot of momentum throughout the year. And I feel like the Capricorn part of our chart is never easy. It's a very hard area of our chart to do. But there's so much energy right now helping us to actually do it. And so I'm so excited to talk to you. I have a bunch of questions. Um, we can dive into those unless there's anything you wanted to say.
No, I'm ready. I'm ready for the questions. Hit me with them.
Okay. I have a lot. I don't know if we will get through all of them, but I was going through your website. I was just writing stuff down. So you talk about brand psychology. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about what that is and how maybe we can use it as like a modern mystic.
Sure, yeah. It's interesting when I think about brand psychology, and then I also think about just like like being a psychic, because that's really actually what I see it as, is like infusing your presence and your brand expression with with psychic messages, like communicating things about your work to your audience through symbolism. Like it could be your color palette, it could be the literal, like, images that you use in your business. It's your fonts communicate a message. It is your posture and, like, how you are showing up in your photos and the energy that you are bringing into your videos, in a reel even. So I like to help my clients create brands that really hold meaning, so that immediately upon engaging with a client of mine, like, I want people to feel something about them. I want them to feel something and probably even know something about them just based before they even get to, like, deeply reading about them. They are yeah, they're receiving something. So, I think a lot of business owners get branding and showing up online wrong in that they are yeah, trying to appease everyone when in reality, the best strategy is to create a brand expression that is so visceral and personal, and I mean, I'm gonna say even like a little like maximalist, and even if it's minimally maximalist, but that it is fully you, to where people are having instant reactions to it. They reach your page, they hear your message, in a quick video, and it's like an instant yes or an instant no. I love this person, or I'm out. And so this level of polarization makes you super magnetic just as much as it makes you potentially like jarring in a way, in a positive way to me. So, brand psychology really is like infusing your brand with meaning, really deeply understanding your audience on a emotional level and understanding what moves people. So, I work with the archetypes, the 12 archetype system, which was like this format you hear them refer to as Jungian archetypes all the time, but it is not Carl Jung that creates the 12 archetypes you see as brand archetypes. It's a woman named Carol S. Pearson is really like who brought them to the forefront, but she gets written out of her own framework a lot of the time. So I work with Carol S. Pearson's 12 archetypes, and it's so powerful. So my clients, for instance, might and anybody could do this. You don't have to be my client. Like you can just play with archetypes
Mhm,
on your own. So, for instance, I will often have people who are keeping themselves really small. Maybe they're someone who sees themselves as, like, really helpful. Maybe they're the nurturer, like, they're always caring for everybody else, but they know that they're being called into a level of leadership. So, I would invite that person to play with the energy of the ruler archetype to start to bring that essence out in themselves. So, I work with the archetypes, yes, in terms of, like, your brand identity, but also as a way of initiating yourself into new levels of your business and success. So the ruler is one that I feel like people get really like sticky about. It feels really intense or there's a lot of responsibility, but if there's this call into power, into leadership, the ruler is one that you can tap into uh to become that. And then I play with the archetypes in a different way where it's like, okay, yeah, maybe you are a ruler as your one of your primary archetypes. Then I might look through your presence and say, okay, how can we create content, messaging, imagery, an entire world around your brand that communicates safety, structure, power, that you are not chaotic, you are not risky to work with, like you are a leader, you are safe, you are stable, you are someone that people can really trust because that's what that ruler embodies of like, I can take care of it. Or maybe you're the disruptor. And then I'm like, all right, how can we use your content to question norms, to position yourself apart from honestly, the rulers, to position yourself apart from the standard in the industry? How can we use your presence as a force of disruption for harmful systems, structures, patterns, beliefs and ideas? So I want folks to think less about building a brand as something that's just like, "Oh, it's my colors, it's my font, it's whatever," and more like, what myth am I living? Who am I? What character am I playing in the story of my people's lives? What is my role? What am I here to do? And also, how are you helping to initiate the main character of the story, which is your clients. So I always see like my clients are going through their own little hero's journey. I emerge out of the ethers and they come to me for a specific thing and then they go off and complete their journey. Whatever your archetypes are is going to shift and impact like your unique way of serving the main character. Like if you are a nurturer archetype, the main character of the story, your client is probably coming to you feeling exhausted. They're probably coming to you feeling drained. They're coming to you feeling unsafe, lost, scared. And the nurturer is here to say to hold you, to witness you, to help you and take care of you so that your journey becomes softer, it becomes, all of these things. So it depends on who you are that I want my people to show up in the true energy of how you actually serve people versus trying to be everything for everybody and then not being very effective at all. Um, but yeah, there's so much to it. I just feel like I don't use brand psychology in the way of like how to trick people into buying something, but more like how can like go within. It's really it's inner world work and symbolic work to help you communicate really authentically and effectively who you are and what to expect from you and what makes you different than anybody else. And for those messages to come through before anybody even deeply engages with your work, through the words that you use, your posture, your colors, everything speaks.
That was really great. You answered, like, a whole bunch of my questions in that little bit. I was actually gonna ask you a lot about the archetypes. So if you guys are out there and you're like, "Oh my gosh, these archetypes sound so cool. I wonder what my archetypes are." Go to her website, thedigitalwitch.com.
Mhm, mhm.
She has an archetypes quiz, and there's a couple questions. You answer it, and then you find out your archetypes. I'm gonna tell you mine, and I want your 2 cents on it, okay? So I took your quiz. I've done it before, but I had forgot what it was. But I redid it just now. And I am 43% the outlaw. I am 29% the sage, and I am 29% the magician. And so if you had a client with that like archetypal dynamics, how would they go about like maybe making content, or what would be maybe the best like marketing strategy for
Okay, so you're the
them?
disruptor, sage.
The outlaw, the sage, and the
Outlaw.
magician.
Okay. I'm just writing it out.
She's always
Sage,
trippy
magician.
typing, you guys. Gotta write it all down. I love it.
Well, I think this is a really interesting archetype fusion. Like, I almost think of you if it like putting the magician aside, like thinking about the outlaw, which also is called the disruptor, with the sage, I see you as this like, yeah, this like rebel teacher. Like you are like the teacher of an alternative school. So, maybe while the rest of the world, just like kind of what we were talking about earlier, like you are there for these eternal students, these folks who love to learn, but you're in the occult, you're in the alternative realms, you are in the other sphere, and I feel like there's also something about your work that even within the industry that you are in is still distinctly different and outside of the norm of like trad astrology. So I see you just like on the fringes in a way, like opening up the door to your classroom and inviting people into this I don't know, like it's not necessarily dark academia, but like, into this alternative learning environment, and then through this learning they become transformed with that magician is all about you walk in one way, you walk out a different way. So having a real shift, a transformation, and I think it's the knowledge that you present that people transform themselves. So sometimes when I think about the sage too, the sage is a little bit detached in a way. It's like they're not there to save you. The sage is not there to heal you, to save you, any of that. They're there to share their wisdom that they have gained over a lifetime, hand it over to you as, the hero in your own story. And ideally, that the information shared unlocks more doors for you. It's like handing you a map in a way. And then, yeah, that disruptive element to it, the outlaw, I think is so interesting and exciting and activating. I don't know. I'm curious, like, how do you feel like these archetypes show up? Do you feel like they hit?
They definitely hit. I was like and the way you have your quiz laid out, like, the question so it's like, sometimes when I take quizzes, it's hard for me to, like, pick one because I'm like, "Oh, I'm this, and this, and this," but you do such a good job with this whole list that I'm like, "Oh, that one right there is definitely me." And then the next one, like, it is made really well. And yeah, no, this is definitely me. I mean, for I am like the cosmic space witch, right? That's very like sagey, magician-y, but then I am such a like I'm gonna say like outcast, but like I guess outlaw or disruptor the way like, yeah, I'm an astrologer. My astrology is so wildly different. And then I'm also like, and that's why I didn't like name my page such and such astrology is because I didn't want to be like pigeonholed into just astrology. I wanted to be able to talk about other things. My ponderings, it's very much the sage. A lot of times it doesn't even have anything to do with astrology. Maybe it's more based on archetypes or something. Stuff happening in the world.
Right.
I'm constantly getting myself in trouble with the algorithm because of the things I have to say about the thing you're not supposed to talk about, whatever the current thing is. And I always have my 2 cents. I'm trying to be better about it now, at least, like, uh, to a certain extent, just because I feel like, I you know, some you just can't say everything. You can't be there for every little thing, but I used to be, like, really vocal in the stories on every single little thing, and always kind of being a little bit of a disruptor about it, and even in astrology, I'm always, like, I don't know, stirring the pot a little bit.
Right.
You'll see, like, the parrot the astrology community parrot the same sort of interpretation for a transit or something like that, and I'll be like, I see this wildly different. Let's talk about it." And when I do that, what's so interesting is you talk about how when you embody your archetypes, that's when you are seen. When I do that, those are the posts that gain traction because there's other people out there who are like, "Yeah, I knew that parroting thing was nonsense." Like, yeah, this is how I see it too. People really do see you when you embody the
Yeah.
archetypal dynamic.
Yeah. Oh, so one of my clients who is a ruler disruptor, ruler disruptor. I don't remember the other one, but these were the main ones that really showed up in her. She came to me because her platform was really flatlining and she just wasn't seeing any growth and also like no life, no conversations. People weren't really responding to things. And then, once we got into it and I was like, okay, I'm hearing what you're saying. It's like there was a part of her work and her message, like that she was completely hiding because she was afraid of the pushback and of the backlash of sharing a controversial stance that she holds, within her field. And I was just like, okay, it makes sense. You're not really getting the, life that you're wanting because you're actually not being like fully honest with your audience. You have this whole belief system that they're not even seeing. So your content is kind of coming off milk toast and boring. And so we worked to really bring that outlaw to life and just like own that her role actually is to question things. Her role is to bring an alternative framework or method into the sphere. And people found that challenging, but she totally blew up. She went from like 1,500 followers to 9,000 followers. I think now she's at 12,000 over the course of a year, but she started to just see responsiveness, people like life happening. And that's really what I feel most people are looking for. A lot of the times they're like, oh, I want this on the surface. But what they are actually wanting is like, I want to feel like I'm not fucking posting into the void and like no one's hearing me. No one's, so sometimes it's not about the metrics. It's about that energy and the relationship with your audience. So we brought her into better relationship with her audience by being more honest, owning her alternative perspective and speaking to the people who are waiting for someone like her to pop out because they also don't fit with the traditional system. Her, basically her she's an ADHD coach for women and she really believes and has embodied that ADHD symptoms are often the result of trauma. So versus like, just being like, well, I have ADHD. This is who I am. I am doomed. I am helpless. She's like, let's address some of the deeper traumas. And anyway, it was like a really polarizing conversation that she created. And at first I think it was really hard for her too to have people like mass start to unfollow her, call her names and things and just really project upon her when why is it wrong to open up a conversation even if you don't agree with it? Like it's fitting for someone. So anyway, owning this archetype and just accepting no matter how hard you try to fit in with everybody else, you're just not going to. So you might as well let yourself be the outlaw. You might as well let yourself be disruptive because you're not going to be embraced by the standard sphere anyway. And I think a lot of folks who are drawn to entrepreneurship, specifically spiritual entrepreneurship, naturally embody that archetype anyway by choosing not only to be an entrepreneur, which is kind of you have to be a little bit kooky, I think, to choose this life, but then to also choose this alternative space within that to where we're like, no, we also need to be making a life and a living off of our magical gifts.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just wild. So I've seen it over and over and over again, like activating your archetypes being the key to your grander social media magnetism. I love it so much. Also, you're making me think about the, like I don't know, I always see this, like, the outlaw energy just breaking all the rules. Like, it's like which is something I like to do with social media too. It's like, "Okay, the rules are you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this." I'm like, I don't let anybody's rules be my rules. I guess that's maybe my ruler too, is like, I make the rules of how things work. I don't know, maybe that's Delulu, but, like, when people are like, "Oh, you need to do this, this, this to make your social media work." I have done whatever I wanted for my whole time I've been in business. Like, I don't show up every day on Reels. I will use Reels and video when I want to as an experiment, but I've had, you know, a successful business for the last 8 years, like, doing what I want. I'm just like, I make the decision that the rules that I set in my way of showing up is going to fucking work. Like I make the rules. Fuck everybody else who tells me what I have to do, how I'm supposed to show up, the 1, 2, 3-step framework, that will never work for me, and that never works for people who are inherently outlaw energy because you're like, "Oh, a rule? I need to break it." Like, no, I can't.
That's like the like basis of my astrology too is like even in any niche, you know, it becomes very dogmatic. And especially in astrology, it's like this planet means this or this sign means this. And I'm like, wow, that is crazy to me that you will pigeonhole yourself into such a box in regards to that. And I am like a big firm believer of like, there are literally no rules. Like, if you think that you figured out how to decode the fucking cosmos, the one and only true way, like that's sounding a little fundamentalist. You know what I mean? Like, it's sounding a little dogmatic, a little bit like a religion, you know, and I've seen that happen on social media as well on like this is how you grow. You need these ads. You need to do this. You need the trending sounds. I would literally rather close my business and never post on internet again than use trending sounds. I scroll on silent because I think the trending sounds are legit mind control. Like the repetition of the same sound over and over and over again is the basis of like mind control. And I think it's literally programming the hive mind to be the same. It's like so beige, so cookie cutter, and I refuse to do it. And that's why I think I gravitate towards your work because you're like, hey, you don't have to do that. You can be yourself. You do not have to sell your soul to the algorithm. Like, you can be yourself, and your weird, unique people are going to find you because of that. Like, the way that most of my clients found me, and they tell me this when I have sessions with them, they're like, oh, I followed you for a long time. I found you back when you talked out about the Lionsgate because everybody was talking about the
Right.
Lionsgate portal, the Lionsgate portal, the Lionsgate
Yeah.
portal. The sun is aligned with Sirius, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's not though. And I like
Yes.
brought the charts and I showed them how it was and I told them what was actually happening, blah, blah, blah. And the cognitive dissonance was so loud with the masses and they attacked me and it was really kind of gnarly, but my people found me. And I think that is like a perfect example of that like outlaw disruptor part of me. But I have been hiding from that part of me like the last 2 years because of how much backlash I got. Not that I really cared about that because I found my people, but the having to like constantly reiterate my point, argue in the comment sections, tell them why they're wrong over and over again, it's just very draining and very tiring. So the last 2 years, I didn't talk on it at all. But I think this year I'll bring it up again to remind everybody.
Yeah, I think you so should because that is such a natural strategy for your archetype, like, yeah, calling things out, like and I feel like because you also have that sagey magician energy that you're not just calling things out for no reason. It's
I
like you're
come I come with the
yeah.
research. I, like, come with the research,
Yes.
I come with the charts, I'm like, "Let me show you why," and I feel like yeah, 100.
Yeah, and you're getting people to, like, think for themselves, not
Mhm.
just, like, what is trending on Witch Talk as, like, the new yeah, like, the fucking new belief everyone has to believe, like, here's the new crisis, like, here's the new fad, whatever that looks like. I feel like the sage is also the skeptic. The sage is discerning, the sage is a skeptic, the sage is, like, coming with the questions, the sage is like, "Not so sure about that." Like, not and then the disruptor inside there too is like, I know, like, "Nah, that's not it." Like, you know, I think it's such a beautiful combination, and then the magician energy also is really cool, like, the magician is just super activating, I feel like they're very magnetic, they are, like you can, like, get people behind an idea, they're great storytellers, I feel like the magician is just, like, powerful, like, just can harness power and create things out of nothing. I feel like magician type people magician is always my number 1. I'm like, there's nothing you can hand me that I will not transmute into gold. Like, if I'm getting hate comments, maybe I'm gonna take those hate comments, screenshot it, and turn it into some I'm gonna do a cheeky little response post, or I'm gonna turn it into a new fucking content pillar for myself. After I started getting more haters, which I don't really have anymore, like, right now that I know of. Like, once I started to experience more of that, I was like, "Okay, now I'm actually just gonna talk about this more in my content," and then haterade became a content pillar that people really loved hearing me speak about because they're also experiencing it. So, yeah, if I was gonna give you that brand social media homework, it would be to question things again and, like, disrupt some shit and have good boundaries around it because I think that you don't have to be engaged with everyone in the comments after you say something that someone doesn't agree with. You get to just not respond. You can post and ghost if you want to. You get to say what you want and then disengage, and how people respond to it is actually not your personal responsibility to, like, reputation manage or to, make sure everyone fully understands what you're saying, like, let them misinterpret you and think you are all these things and then move on with your day and keep showing up in your energy. That's your fucking role. That's literally what you're here to do. That's what you're here to do. Get people thinking and questioning and challenging all these things. And yeah, like the Lionsgate portal, all there's a new portal every day. So
It's the portal every day. Girl,
new
it's so
portal
hard for
daily.
me not to get the last word, though. Like, that is definitely a character trait of mine that I need to work on because, like, I got Mars in the first house. I got a Scorpio Mercury conjunct Pluto. And then I'm Libra. Like, Libra is the debater. And I got a bunch of Sag placements who's like, I have the knowledge. Let me school you. But people don't, like, really even read what you write. And half the time, I think I'm arguing with bots. Like, I'm like, I don't think this is
Literally.
even a person. But I will still try to get the last word with a fucking bot, which is impossible. And I'm just like, "Oh god, Allie, what are you doing?" You know?
I I completely get it. Like, I think it took a long time for me to disengage from, like and yeah, that kinda energy. I feel like at certain points in my online career, I was like, "Yeah, I have to fucking clap back to everything." I also need to over explain myself. I think I used to be I mean, I was very nurturer in a way, like, I wanted to make sure I was curating this space where everyone is safe and my content never causes harm and my content never makes anybody uncomfortable. I want to make sure everyone is totally happy with me and I'm doing a really good job of creating everybody safety for everybody else. But in centering everybody else, I ignore myself. I became this like boundaryless martyr of like, you know, I could say I I could literally say anything. I think I saw some astrologer post this. He was like, "I could literally say the sky is blue," and there's someone out there who'd be like, "But it's also pink sometimes. It's also, like, pink and in orange sometimes." And, like, the feeling the compulsion to have to explain every little piece of nuance to everybody, it's just not possible or not so sustainable. So I just, like, free yourself from that regardless of what your archetype is, like, let people misunderstand you. Your people will stay there with you and, like, free yourself from the idea that any one post could ever contain every angle, every little piece of nuance, every little, like, yeah, but," and that it's not your job to contain it all at once. It's just not possible for you. It's like, stick around. Yeah, maybe in next week, I'll add that layer of nuance if I want to.
Yeah.
Um But yeah, it's hard being a disruptor. It's challenging because people don't get you, and often disruptors actually bring ideas forward to the collective far before everybody else catches on. It's like you're way ahead of everybody else presenting these alternative viewpoints and frameworks and beliefs and ideas and all these things, and people are like, "You're fucking crazy. You're crazy." You're like, they just haven't caught on yet. But eventually, by the time everybody catches up, like, you're already moved on from the thing, or you might even feel like, "Wow, now this thing is becoming, like, every day, but when I said this, people had a problem with it." Suddenly, it's normalized.
That happens to me all the time, and then I'm like, "I don't wanna talk about it anymore because now everybody's talking about it."
Right.
And they're talking about it
Right.
like they were always talking about it. That's is what
You're
happened
like,
with
"You
the
weren't."
Lionsgate. Like, it was just
Right.
me saying it. And then each year, more people kind of joined in, which is great because that's what I wanted them to do. But they were all, like, regurgitating my points wrong, like, they didn't even hear what I said right, and I'm like, "Bring the charts, people," it got really annoying, and so I didn't wanna, like, add to the echo chamber, but, yeah, that's definitely what happens. You get attacked. I think there's something I always post that's like, it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they have been fooled, you know what I mean? Like, it's way easier to come with some crazy, "There's a freaking portal and it's opening up and all of your manifestations are gonna come true." People are like, "Oh, really? I will comment to claim," you know? But if you tell them that something that is not true and let me show you why and blah, 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 then they're like, "I don't believe you." You know? You can come with no facts and figures and they will believe you, but if you come with the facts and figures, they're like, "Oh, I don't believe you."
Yeah. I mean, that's why, like, the fucking fascists are, doing so good on social media because they have an audience that is just like, desperately looking for something to make them feel good and to feel better, and that's just, like, yeah, the social media propaganda. Like, it's really wild. Like, it's just appealing to the most simple here's the truth, it's black and white truths. Like, it's really wild to witness and how sage type content like, sometimes I feel like sages can struggle on social media a little bit with, people don't nuance isn't viral, often. Like, having these, like, thoughtful conversations, it's kind of hard where you might feel like you have to cheesify it or,
I am like,
make it more
"How?"
surface level.
Yeah. For a while, like, I was writing really long posts with all this depth, and, like, the algorithm, 1, won't show it to people when there's too much depth there, but also I feel like people aren't reading it, and so then I would spend so much time being like, "How can I fit this really in-depth, complex thought into a meme?" And I'm trying to, like, make a meme. I did pretty good with it for a while there, but, like, I would have to be like, "Okay, how can I turn this dissertation into a bite-sized bite-sized content so that one, the algorithm will show it to people, and two, people can digest it. And it was like, that's not fun for me. And that's why I really like this podcast platform, because I feel like sit here, talk about a subject for a considerable length of time. I'm really loving Substack because the long form writing, people are tired of the tiny bite-sized content, and they are venturing back to a more like analog life, or they're venturing back to long form content, and Substack is blowing up. You need to be over here. Like,
I do need to. The sage is like always the lowest for me, even though I have the craziest like marketing, branding, business knowledge. Like I went to grad school for marketing. I'm I know so much, and then yet like I feel like my journey is the opposite in this way, where like I need to take my shit off the platforms where I am doing more just quick, bite-sized stuff, micro messages, little activations, and deepen into my body of work, which is the gift of the sage, is like creating this like world for people to explore of their knowledge.
yeah. All right, so this may be a good time to segue into this question. All right. So you talk about how spiritual entrepreneurs, um, how you can help them kind of be done hiding, right? In your experience with your clients or people you've come in contact with, what is the most common fear that keeps healers from being seen online? And like, how does maybe like witch wound and like
Mm.
the fear of like, and historically in the past for these gifts that we are trying to market, we have been like burnt at the stake, ostracized, marginalized, you know what I mean? Literally like exiled for these. And so how much is like the witch wound did you think play into this? And then like what are like the most common things that are how are we self-sabotaging ourselves? How are we the problem and not the algorithm?
Okay, those are really good questions. I feel like, the witch wound thing is interesting because at the end of the day, like, it really is like just white supremacy. Like, it is steeped in, um, yeah, like a supremacy culture of, most spirituality coming from the marginalized, coming from indigenous folks, coming from, uh, women, and that we're literally like seeing it play out on our political scale right now with this like heavy emphasis in Christianity, and anyway, I think that a lot of that energy is coming from that space of like where we have been taught that the only like valid belief system is, yeah, it's Christianity, it's whatever. And I mean there's just so much to that, including like real ancestral and generational trauma that comes from folks in communities who had their magic and traditional practices literally like beaten out of them, or wiped out through genocide and colonialism. Like I feel like it's less, like we are the daughters of the witches you couldn't burn vibes. Like it's more ancestral, where like, yeah, the women in your life had to hide, like, in your line, or yeah, anyway, there's so much, like, erasure that has happened over a lifetime of oppressive colonialism that I think still shows up in how people show up today, particularly folks who are from, uh, these communities. And then this other piece of like, what are the most common things and fears that people have? Like one big one I feel like we kind of talked about already, but like is this fear of causing harm, or this fear of saying something wrong and getting in trouble.
Mhm.
This really to me shows up the most with the innocent archetype, and we all have these archetypes within us. So
Mhm.
if you are also someone who's like, I am afraid of like saying things because I'm afraid of getting called out, I'm afraid of whatever, I would work with your innocent archetype and see like, are you letting your inner child run your Instagram? Like, is it this version of you that just desperately wants to be safe, that having someone be mad at you is like, it's, yeah, it deeply challenges your sense of safety. And I feel like so many spiritual entrepreneurs are running around on the internet with like a really fried nervous system and a lot of trauma that I think the archetypes can reflect back to us. Like, oh, maybe I need to like deal with my safety in the world in general. And like feeling like it is safe for me to be misunderstood. It's actually safe for me to get it wrong. Okay. I said something that, was off, or I made somebody uncomfortable. Can you still sit with yourself? Can you still Can you still believe in your right to exist even if you got it wrong once, or, whatever? Can you take accountability for that and move on instead of shrinking and hiding out of this fear? It's a big one. I think a lot of people, especially in more, like, conscious spheres or in lefty, more progressive spaces, are very much walking on eggshells around their audience all the time. Like, at any point, someone could turn on them, they're just very afraid of their audience. That's so big. People afraid of their audience versus, like, feeling held and accepted and, like, people, are witnessing your humanity. It feels, yeah, like a sense of they're tense, and it's a pretty intense one. And then you have the fear of, like, being manipulative. Like, I'm afraid of manipulating people. If I if I I feel like they have a hard time feeling like, is selling tricking someone? Is selling harmful? Am I lying? Am I this? Like, there's a lot of getting in their heads around, like, what does this all mean, and am I a bad person for doing it? When I try to, like, really normalize it where it's like, okay, imagine you follow your local pizza place. When they're posting about their pizza specials, you are not like, I can't fucking believe they're trying to sell me something. It's like, obviously they're showing you their pizzas and how tasty they are and the special, because they're a business and this is what they do. And I think we get really personal about it, when I think there is s a lot to be gleaned in remembering that, like, you are a business, making that really clear to people. Yes, you're a person, but you're running a business. This is a business page. You should expect me to sell sometimes. Also, like, yeah, they're so afraid of, like, being manipulative, all of these things, when in reality, I really feel like marketing is just like, "Here's my cup," like, I'm just like, "Here's my cup, I love drinking out of it," like, I'm just telling you about this thing I love, which is my work, and you can decide for yourself. One of my biggest beliefs is just, like, being an easy person to say no to really alleviates, like, all of that pressure. Never trying to rope somebody into a fake conversation, like the, "Hey girl, how long have you been an astrologer for?" You know, what's, like, something you've been working on lately where it's, like, obviously fucking someone's trying to sell you something. I like to create a brand presence and a social media presence that is so magnetic on its own, where you're really helping people and you're creating this, like, garden, this flourishing garden. Every post is like a flower that you're planting, where, like, the bees are coming, they're attracted to, and you're helping each other out. It's an ecosystem, it's natural, it's nature, and it's okay if they wanna fly away, like, let people fly away, and don't, like, grip on too hard to anybody in your audience. Just focus on you and creating this world that you can invite people into, but, like, let people come to you. And, yeah, there's a little bit of, like, outward, magic you can do, but, like, you're gonna have a much better time selling when you don't have to force anymore, and being really clear and creating a super valuable presence and being radically generous with your free stuff, like, selling is not a thing. Like, it's not like a hard thing that you have to really struggle to get or convince anybody of anything. And also, this is like a tip. I think everybody should stop trying to convince people with your content. Speak to someone who's already convinced. They already know that they need or want exactly what you offer. They're like right there and they're ready. So it's more qualifying them and letting them say, okay, like, is this for me or is this not for me? That's on them, not like desperation energy trying to prove your worth to people. I get why that would feel really icky. Yeah, I think those are the big ones, and then also just, like, weirdness around money in general. I think there's a lot of wounds around having things, having money, I think a lot of healers have taken this, like, poverty vow, and not just healers, but a lot of business owners in general. A lot of alternative business owners, again, folks who tend to be really progressive, like, become this, like, self-martyring energy and entity where you are a bad person if you are safe or successful, when I think we should really be unhooking from the idea that you being financially safe and secure in the world means something about who you are as a person, you know? Um, and we just see so much of, like, if you're a real healer or a real practitioner, you would do the shit for free. It's just, like, very entitled, and I don't even engage with any of that stuff anymore, and I only communicate to people who recognize the value in this work, and that's something that they value, instead of trying to convince someone who doesn't value what you sell to see you and recognize they're never going to. So, just don't even talk to those people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big, like a really big one. Like the money piece, feeling shame about having it, but in my eyes, who are we helping when we're broke? Who benefits from that? Not you, not your community, not anybody. And there are ways to create a business that is inclusive and accessible without giving everything out and away for free.
Yeah. So well said. Oh, all right. I feel like that's a good segue. And I have got two more questions for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
Um, I'm gonna kind of mix these two together. And I feel like it kind of spawns off what you just said. So how do you help someone find a balance between like keeping their practice sacred and then building a profitable brand? And like how does your own personal spiritual practice inform the way that you run your business behind the scenes? For me, I'll just say a little bit for me, I'm an astrologer, so I'm also severely ADHD, autistic, dyslexic. I was like heavily medicated as a child and told that I like cannot function without it, and now I refuse to use it. So I am raw dog in life, okay? And I am a procrastinator and a perfectionist, and I will just like not do things. So the way I have to run my business is I have to tie it to astrology. So, like, that is why these podcasts are on the new and full moons, because those come and I have to do it that day. Like, I cannot be like, I'll do it tomorrow because it's not tomorrow. Like, even launches, I'll be like, a major conjunction that is aspecting my chart nicely, or the equinox or the solstice. I have to make it like magical and mystical to like vibe with my business. And then the way I keep my practice sacred while still, I'm not that I have a super profitable business, but the way that I keep it sacred is, I guess, staying true to myself. But I wanna kinda hear how you help your clients to navigate that, because 'cause I'm sure they all have, like, different spiritual practices, you know?
Yeah, I feel like for me, like, it's interesting because for a long time, I really separated these different parts of myself, like, I've worked with Hecate and Aphrodite since 2008, and I would mention it here and there, but not so much. I kept it very much separate, like, my magical practice was private. Um, and then my business was, like, an extension of that, but it was something I didn't really feel I had to talk about. More and more recently, it has been coming up of, like, the Hecate work wanting to, like, emerge a little bit because it actually is so connected. Like, at the end of the day, I want my clients to show up in truth and honesty and in their authenticity, and that is so much of what working with Hecate has done for me, is, like, invited me to become my best self, and if that means I have to, like, sacrifice certain things. That means that I have to keep my promises. That means I have to stay devoted to my authenticity and not live in delusion, and I think that comes out so much in my work, and then I also feel like the more that I integrate her and tap into my channel, the more psychic I become. Like, I've heard from so many people, they're like, "Oh, dude, you are so fucking psychic." Like, I'm like, I mentioned to somebody who's like, "Oh, what if you use this name for this program?" And they're like, "I literally have this random word, this name already written down in a journal," and they'll show me, and I was like, "Oh," sometimes I'm, like, seeing into people's heads in a way that can be uncomfortable too, where they're like, I feel like I've had to watch myself sometimes with clients because I don't ever wanna feel like, because I'm seeing you, that I'm taking any ownership over anything, because it's not. I'm really just, like, holding that psychic mirror to people and letting them see themselves. And
It's your Scorpio placements.
totally, 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 yeah. And, yeah, I don't know if I'm actually answering the question, but essentially, I like to invite people to be authentic, yes, share about your life, about your practice, but what what is sacred? What doesn't belong to your brand? That's always something to reflect on. Like, for certain people, some of my clients, for instance, are like, "Oop, oops, are we still here?"
Yeah, you're here.
Okay. Like, they're like, "Oh, I will never talk about my relationship. My partner is always protected. Like, I'm not gonna share their face, or it's their children." Or just think about, like, what do you wanna keep private? What do you wanna maintain for you? Maybe there's parts you feel safe sharing and others that you don't. Even, like, sometimes, I've heard people say, like, "Oh, you should never post your altars."
Mhm.
For me, sometimes, though, the witnessing is a charge where, like, this thing is actually meant to be seen, and the more people that see it, the more it amplifies its power, but, yeah, of course, not for everything. So, yeah, I don't know, there's so much. I just really want people to explore, like, what feels fun to share, what would feel exciting to share with your people, what would help people understand you more. And outside of that, like, you don't have to give all the details away to everybody. Um, did I answer the question? I don't actually
You
know if I
did.
did.
You did. You answered the question. All right. I got one last question and we'll wrap it up. Um, there's more questions, but we're gonna just end with this one here. All right. Of In your professional opinion, I know it's not the same for everybody and everybody business is different, but if you had to pick, what marketing strategies have you seen with your clients have, like, the most success with, the most wide range of clients? I know it's not gonna be the same for everybody, but if, like, we're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'm ready to market myself," what would be your advice for somebody starting out, you know? Most people are like, "You gotta do the ads, you gotta do the funnels," or whatever. What tell us what to do. How do we do this?
Yeah. I think that the biggest thing that has been the most successful for people is to move out of chaos creator energy and creating a world for people to engage in through your work. So, I think a lot of folks that come to me they're like, "Yeah, I'm making sales at random." I don't know, people happen to find me, and sometimes they book with me, and oftentimes these folks are starting every month again at 0, and they're like, "I don't know how I'm gonna make money next month. I don't know how I'm gonna fucking find new clients next month." Like, every month is a hustle. So, one of the biggest things that creates the most significant shifts for people is, yeah, moving out of just selling sessions, like, it's an astrology reading, to creating, like, signature offerings, like a signature reading that they're not gonna find anywhere else. Um, Creating a whole world of ways for people to engage with you from multiple levels and touch points. So, again, thinking about marketing being the garden, you're, you're showing up, you're shining, whatever. But then once I get there, where are you taking me? It is a lot easier to generate more revenue from focusing on your existing customers and clients than it is to constantly be trying to get new people into your world. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of energy to keep having to find new, 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 new. Instead, find the people you really want to work with that love working with you, and then how can you create a world for them to walk through with you at multiple levels. A lot of people start with me in my free or donation-based classes or experiences. Then they might pop into a flash sale that I do that's $100. Then they might join a mid-range course. Then they might end up at my retreats that are, multi-thousand-dollar experiences, or jump into long-term one-on-one with me. But if I was start, engaging how a lot of folks do, I would just be starting every month like, I have coaching spots available, which is what a lot of people do. It's like, I have to sell spots. I have to do this. It's like, I have a world that people walk through with me, that I'm taking the hero and that hero's journey through a particular adventure. Like, so I tend to start the beginning of the year doing a lot of visibility work. So I'm helping people more break through those fears of being seen, because I can't even talk to people about money and strategy in their business until they're not afraid to post. So I kind of like walk people through this adventure. It's like, okay, the start of the year, we're talking about visibility, being bold, brave online, taking up space, growing your following, finding your people. And then those same people tend to come with me on the journey when I start talking about, all right, let's create your suite of offerings. Let's learn how to launch things intentionally instead of just being like, "Oh, here." I have doing a post about your thing and then disappearing and wondering why people aren't buying, or having a million chaotic offerings without a clear path, like, for your person to understand how does this all connect? So that is the biggest thing that I feel like has the most tangible shifts, is like, where are you taking me on this journey? And creating like a soft structure. Like, I'm not super rigid about anything, but giving yourself a little bit of like energetic alignment can be really helpful, and then not starting every month at zero. Yeah, like building signature offerings and things that you can bring back again and again. So I've even had
What
folks like, yeah,
what
sorry.
what do you mean by signature offering?
I mean, like, things that are yours. Like, anybody can sell a fucking marketing course, but not anybody but me can sell Witch and Famous brand visibility school for black sheep business owners, who are ready to come out of blah, 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 blah. Like, I created a unique experience that I know you're not gonna find anywhere else. I serve a really unique audience. I have a unique perspective. So I really mean taking your unique genius and stepping away from marketing your work like it's just a commodity. It's like, it's an astrology reading. It's not just an astrology reading, because you are you and you have this whole lifetime of experience and your storytelling gifts, and like, you have your unique thing. So I would say, like, communicating the value and like the magic of you distinctly makes it so you don't have to compete with anybody else anymore. Like, yeah, so that's kind of what it is. So it's like, and then having these things that you bring back again and again. Like, I don't have to wonder how I'm gonna make money or what I'm gonna sell. I have unique offerings that I can pull back whenever I need to make money. I'm like, "Okay, I want to make some money this month. I'm like, "All right, what have I already created that I could bring back again?" And I think that's another big piece is, like, not just doing things once. If you create a course and it was not exactly what you wanted, that's fine. Glean what you can, learn from that, pivot, and launch it again in 3 months. Like,
Did we lose her?
I think people
Oh, there
give
she
up
is.
too quick. Ooh,
We
ooh,
we lost you for a second, so if you said anything
too
important in
powerful,
the
too
last
powerful.
couple seconds, maybe rephrase those last sentences or so.
I think I was just saying, like, don't give up so easily on things and, like, bring things back again and again. The best businesses are kind of boring. Like, it's okay for shit to be repetitive. When you think you're boring the life out of someone, they've probably, like, just started to get it.
I love your answers to all of these things because it's so, like, doable. It's pretty much just, like, be yourself, you know? Be yourself, don't hide, get out there, like, what is the worst that can happen? You know, they're not, like, throwing stones at you literally these days anymore, you know?
Yeah.
We're hiding behind screens. They can't really
Yeah.
hurt us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Uh,
to, like, feel a sense of, like, ownership over your own space that, like, your space, your page, your profile, your platform belongs to you. It actually doesn't belong to everybody else. They're guests in your house.
mhm.
So, you don't let guests come in and, like, talk shit about your furniture and how horrible your decor is, and you don't know anything about this. It's like, why do we allow people to treat us like that in our own spaces? So being a little more proactive about, like, setting the guidelines of what you tolerate and what you don't, I think also creates a huge difference in your own safety in your platform and, like, you will have more fun when you are not dealing with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think that because I've been over the past couple months trying to learn the language of how to explain what exactly it is that I do because yeah, my astrology is very unique. It is not like anybody else's. Like when you've had your chart read by me, like it is not your average astrology session. But it's really hard for me to actually kind of put it into words what it is, and it's been, like, working with you and working with another marketing developer who's, like, asks the right questions to, like, get me to say the things out of my mouth of, like, what it is that I do, and I think it's really a lot of it is, like, getting that message clear
Yeah.
so that people know how you're different. And so they could be like, "Oh, I like that. I want that, and I can only get that from you." You know, and I think
Yeah.
that that is what it's been kind of like pulling teeth because I'm very long-winded. I'm like, "Well, oh, you want to know what I do? Well, let me write you a multi-page dissertation with like all the over-explaining." Like that is
I
my
think
jam.
the best way to get clarity is actually to just ask your fucking customers and clients.
I did
Literally get like creating, a Google Doc or whatever and like asking other people to describe you. How would you describe me to a friend? How would you describe the work I do? What are 3 words you would use to describe me? What is, what are the tangible shifts you think I help people accomplish? Like what is the magic or value of working with me and, like, letting other people tell you and then using their words to infuse into your content and messaging to make it really human because it's literally what other people are saying. So I'm always listening to see what people say about me. I'm like, "Oh, this person said I am ABC thing." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna describe myself as that, or I'm gonna infuse these words into my marketing, into my messaging." So then over time, it's like very real and human because it's community created messaging in a way.
if you guys are out there and you're listening and you want to send me some words for
Yeah.
me to add, I am working on the website behind the scenes. Hopefully, it will launch in the spring. And I'm changing like all of my language and trying to really like refine that. I'm also putting up client testimonials. I have like a bajillion of them on Instagram on like a little highlight reel. But if you want to write me a testimonial, or even send me like a 1 to 3 minute video about your experience. I want to embed that into the website maybe. And then I also would like to use it as content. So if you guys are out there and you're like, oh, I loved my session with Ali, tell me it. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. And I'm doing a giveaway for anybody who does come and tell me about it. So hit me up.
I love that.
That was your idea, that 1 to 3 minute video.
Oh, good. I'm like, really? I didn't. I was like,
Yeah.
I forgot. Sometimes I'm just saying stuff and I'm like, wait, what did I say?
You did that in our session, our one-on-one.
I love
Um,
that.
I know it's late there, so thank you so much, Captolia. I appreciate you coming and
Thank
chatting with us.
you.
If
Thanks,
you guys
everybody.
if you guys enjoyed this conversation and you want to come join her 21-day visibility challenge, it kicked off today. You can come and join and get out there, get seen over the next 21 days. She's built this nice little community. It's on Telegram. Telegram?
Yes, yeah, the community's on Telegram, and then we'll have, like, little periodic Zoom calls with guest workshops and teachers and things coming in to show us how they led their own challenges, how they, broke through their visibility fears and really radically took up space and grew their audiences, and some people had really powerful, profound results through the challenge last year, so I'm excited, and I would love to have you in the visibility challenge.
Make sure you guys go follow her on Instagram at captolia.online. Take the quiz over on her
Take the
website.
quiz.
Find out
The
your
quiz is really
archetype.
fun. And soon I will have some guides. This is my I was like, that was I need I'm like, that's me coaching myself. I'm like, why have I been avoiding my own great work by having you take my quiz and I don't really give you anything. I don't email. I have like 8,000 emails from the quiz. I'm like, you're never getting an email
It
from me.
gives a little bit. It gives you so you find out your archetypes, and then if you click on it, it tells you like a little bit about it and even like marketing content strategies. It has a little bit there.
Yeah, I give you some ideas. I give you some ideas, and then there's a page where you could learn a little bit more about them, but I would love to have more of, like, a full creator guide. Right now, the only place to, like, learn more deeply about them is I have a 2-hour call about each archetype in my membership, and we've also had, like, meetup group transmissions. So it's like all the creators come together, all the caregivers, and I gave, like, a really personalized transmission to each of the archetypes, like a guide of like how to show up and what challenges you might face, et cetera, et cetera. And then in Witch and Famous, my brand visibility school, which I'm going to be opening at the end of the challenge, which is like literal full marketing school, like brand identity, brand aesthetic, brand messaging, social media, email marketing, search engine optimization. It's very nerd brain. Like if you are a learning nerd, you would love that.
Tell everybody how there you can also like there's like a not really a payment plan, but you can like pay in installments. You were telling me about that. What's it called?
So, for Witch and Famous, specifically, do you mean?
Remember you said that most people kind of pay in like little installments, so you don't have to pay all at once, and it's like broken up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, for most of my programs,
Something
but
about a
specific
firm or something? Wasn't it called something?
Oh, yeah. You can use a firm for things. So, honestly, for any of you who sell higher price things, I think it would be a good idea to get onto Stripe and or, whatever platform allows you to do this, but essentially you get paid in full and then the customer pays in installments to a firm or Klarna or whatever on their end, which is a really good strategy if you are someone who's wanting more cash on hand than having to manage, like, handling payment plans for people over time. So, yeah, something to consider there, but thanks so much for having me. This is so fun.
Thank you for being here. I know it's been a busy day for you, so I will let you go. Everybody find Captolia, show her some support, and thank you.
Thanks,
Happy,
everybody.
happy new moon. All right,
Happy
bye,
New
guys.
Year.
Bye.